After talking about the things that I don't like about the Ricoh GR4 in the last video, I now want to focus on what I really like about this camera. There might even be a few surprising realizations in this video, but we'll get to that later. Hello everyone, today I want to talk to you about this camera here, again the Ricoh GR4, but this time I want to talk to you about what I really like about this camera. I already made a video about the things that I don't like about this camera, and there's one major thing that might cause me to get rid of it, but if you haven't seen the video, check it out after this one. So without further ado, let's start. So number one, and this is size and weight, because this camera is actually pocketable, and I'm not talking about a jacket pocket. I mean pocketable. I can put it in my pants without any issues. Of course, with this lens hood here, it's a bit bigger, but if I take it off, it's so small, it easily fits in my pocket. And from someone that is usually shooting a Leica Q3, that is a big difference. And if I decide to have only a very small camera with me, I can take it off, just throw it in my pocket, and it's fine. I don't even need to bring a bag, which is great. Point number two, and that is that this camera is fully focused on street photography. It doesn't try to be a photo hybrid monster. It's not a wildlife camera, and it doesn't want to be a portrait king. This camera is focused on street photography. Everything about it screams street photography. It's the focal length, it's the whole control scheme of the camera. The whole philosophy behind it tells you that this is fully focused on street photography, and I really respect that. Point number three, and that is the implementation of manual focus. You see, when shooting street photography, manual focus often is more important than autofocus, especially if you use zone focusing. And on this camera, the way you can set up basically zone focusing, or also if you use autofocus, and then you can have the snap focus function. On this one is very good the way it's implemented, and it's super efficient, and you can be really quick when using this camera. And honestly, before I got it, I had no idea, because this is actually the first time I ever use a Ricoh GR camera, and this actually took me by surprise how efficient and how really good it is. And let's not forget the newly introduced SN mode, which is basically a great tool for zone focusing. And here is how it works. First, you need to set your ISO to auto and define your upper and lower limits. Don't forget to also set the shutter speed you want to shoot at. If you have enough light, I'd recommend at least 1/500th. Next, set your desired focusing distance using the front dial. After that, you can use the rear dial to choose between 3 depth of field settings, 1 being the narrowest and 3 the widest. The camera will then automatically select the aperture to match your settings, and the ISO will also be adjusted accordingly. However, keep in mind, if there isn't enough light to maintain those settings, the camera will lower the shutter speed, even below the threshold you originally set. In this case, that would be 1/500th. This mode is great for beginners who want to get into zone focusing, or for anyone who prefers to keep things simple and focus, no pun intended here, on getting the shot. Now let's talk about the next point, and that is the JPEGs this camera produces. I mean, I mostly shoot RAW, but sometimes you want to share a photo quickly, and then JPEGs can be very handy. And on here there are some filters that are very nice, very unique. They almost have or at least one has this almost like a film organic look, but in a very subtle way, and I really like it. And not everybody wants to sit in front of Lightroom all day long, and I think for those people it's especially nice. So the JPEGs on here took me really by surprise, and yeah, that is, I think, one upside of this camera that I really appreciate. Now the next point also ties in directly with JPEGs, and that is app support on the Ricoh GR4. Because if you want to quickly transfer your files to your phone, this works really well on this one. It's not always perfect, but it gets the job done. And what the Ricoh GR allows you, or the GR4, I'm not sure about the older ones, is that you can also transfer your RAW files. On other camera brands, they will not allow you that. Leica does, but I know some of them, it's only the JPEGs. But on here, you can also transfer the RAW files, which can be handy. And this also ties into the whole philosophy of lightweight, because you can just bring this one, maybe you can bring a tablet, and that's all you need. You don't need to bring a laptop whatsoever. So I really like that about the Ricoh GR4. Now the next point, and that really took me by surprise, is how fast this camera is to turn on. You just press the button and you're ready to go. This really makes the camera feel very fast and responsive. And as you know, in street photography, that makes a big difference. But let me just show you this fun little comparison here. Here you can see the Ricoh GR4 compared to my Leica Q3. And even though the Q3 has become much faster to start up since its release, the GR4 still beats it. But now, just to show you something shocking, take a look at what happens when we compare it to a Leica M11P. As you can see, I can turn the Ricoh GR4 on, off and back on again, and it's still faster than the Leica, which is quite surprising. So, moment on the streets, don't wait, and having a camera that will not slow you down is extremely important. Now, let's talk about the next point, which is image quality, because on this camera, it's really nice. Especially if you consider me coming from the Leica Q3, which has a full frame sensor, and this only being an APS-C size sensor. But I don't think I have to compromise on anything, especially if you consider how small the camera actually is. On here, the image noise in high ISO, it's very little and looks very organic. I really like it. The dynamic range is great, and the lens is so sharp up in the corners. So having a camera this small with this image quality is really lovely, and that really impressed me. Now, another thing that I really like about the Ricoh GR4 is the fact that it has a leaf shutter. I mean, that should not be a surprise, because also the Leica Q3 has a leaf shutter. And what that allows me, first of all, is very quiet, but also what it allows me to do is use a flash and pretty much sync at any speed. I mean, at least any mechanical shutter speed. And the best part is you don't even need to bring a very big and bulky and professional looking flash. A very small one like this one, or even smaller, already gets the job done. So again, that perfectly fits into the philosophy of the camera. Minimal weight, minimal size, but maximum creative control. And finally, the last point is internal storage. This is a really nice to have, and you can leave the house without an SD card, or maybe if you walk around, take a lot of photos and suddenly you run out of memory, you can switch over to the internal memory and keep shooting. So again, this ties into the whole philosophy of the camera. Lightweight, hustle-free, just go out and shoot. And this is something I really like. And I had occasions where it was already really handy to have the backup space, because I was running out of memory. And in the past, yeah, I went out without a memory card, which was very disappointing. So I lost a lot of time. But with this camera, it's not a problem anymore. The internal memory is a nice feature to have, but it could be even better. If you've seen the last video, you already know what I mean. If not, make sure to check it out after this one to find out what I'm talking about. Alright, there you have it, guys. Even though I have my issues with this camera, there's still a lot of really positive things about it. And I think for a lot of people, this might actually be one of the best, or maybe even the best, street photography camera or tool. And in my case, yes, it has a lot of weaknesses, but also it has a lot of strengths. So I have to figure out if these strengths outweigh the problems that I have with this camera. But Only time will tell. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, auf Wiedersehen.